All right, guys, we have a surprise. So let's see what it is. Well, oh goodness. Which I don't know 100% if the original video dropped yet, but we have this. And it appears to be as described. It was advertised as new, sealed, and in the box. And it is exactly that. So, to give you a little bit of a backstory, I purchased, let's see. I purchased one. Okay. And it was listed as used. And it was basically dead on arrival, corroded, no charge, no lights, no nothing. And I've got a video on attempting to repair it, of which we partially successful. But go see that video. Maybe I can think about putting cards up somewhere to show that that video. But I'll link it at the end of this video. That's what I'll do. I'll link at the end of the video the attempt to repair this right here. And I'm not done. I'm gonna keep working on it. So anyway, so I ended up, this one I wanted to get, and that one came up cheaper, and obviously so. And I do not think that the seller knew. I think the seller thought it was working. So regardless, I purchased this one, and it's here. So we're going to take a look and see what we can see. Now, these are all actually supposed to come with a registration or a code for DaVinci Resolve Studio, of which I already own Resolve, and I have the dongle, which allows you to plug it into any unregistered copy on a computer somewhere. Just install Studio everywhere and plug that dongle in, and it is registered at that point. But these are supposed to come with a key, and I'm hoping this should have a key in it. So what you get in the box, I so rarely get new stuff that this is really, really cool. Awesome. I love it already. We got this, we got some paper, and we've got a USB-C cable. That's awesome. And that's it. That's what comes in the box. So let's get this stuff out to the way. And I'll kind of talk about a few things, but this right here seems to be a pretty long cable. I've got an extremely long cable. It seems to be pretty heavy duty. I mean, it's a good cable. It's not really long, but I've got an extremely long cable that I do have hooked up to my computer that I would use. And you can see that spins pretty doggone smooth. And this is really, really awesome. It is, I mean, that is absolutely brand new, pristine. So let me check and see what we've got in the paperwork. Just checking. I don't see a key just yet, but what I'll probably do is call them and talk to them, give them the information on it. and see what I got to do to get the registration key. So there's no way, I mean, I can't hit buttons or anything and get lights to come on. That's not the way this works. So, and even, I mean, I can take and plug it into the charger here and plug it up here. And my charger is registering 1/2 amp at 0.5 watts. Now it dropped down to 0.1 amp at 0.5 watts. So it is taking taking a charge. And to make sure I'm telling the truth, yeah, no lights coming on. So just so you know, when you get one of these, just when you plug it in, if you have a way of testing, you can test that it's taking a voltage and charging, and that's all well and good. But these don't actually activate or come on until they're actually connected to the software that you have on the computer. And so these right here are used in conjunction with DaVinci Resolve, whichever version that you have. And so initially what you would do is take this cable or another USB-C cable, and you would plug it directly into your computer, then plug it into here, and then open up the DaVinci Resolve panel, and it'll check for updates and do all that other kind of stuff. But it'll find the panel, it'll see that it's listed there, and everything is all good. As soon as you get this charged, and that'll also show you what the charge level is. So as soon as you get this charged, pull it out, and then go into your operating system and search for a Bluetooth device, and you'll see the speed editor keyboard come up, and then you link to that. And so it'll pull it up on your computer at that point. And from there, all you got to do is open up DaVinci Resolve, and DaVinci Resolve will look, it sees the keyboard, and it will activate it, and the snap light will come on, and that'll be the only light that comes on. And then, of course, when you choose one of these, that light will come on as well. And so with this speed editor, one of the biggest things to use is append, ripple, delete, then in and out, and let's see, close up is pretty cool. And then over here you have SHTL, and so when you push that button and you've got clips loaded, then you turn it back this way, and the more you turn it, the faster it will go in reverse. You come back here, it stops. Go this way, and it goes fast forward. Faster and faster the more you turn it. When you come into jog, which is where I would stay most, you can sit here and do it like this right here, and it's fast scrolling through there, but it's more precise because you can stop one frame at a time and get fine-tuned adjustments. Or you can go here and hit scroll button, and like this right here, that right there probably just now would get you to the end of a 20-minute video. So that's how fast you can scroll through. And I would just take and spin it, and you'd be at the end of the video, or come back like this, and you'd be at the front of the video. And then that way you can take and do what you got to do, or what kind of edits you got to work on, or good stuff like that. And so one thing that's really cool about this right here, when you go to the cut page, and this is primarily used on the cut page, though it does have some functions that work on the edit page, but I pretty much do everything on the cut page anyway. So the first thing you would want to do is there'll be at least on DaVinci Resolve 20. I don't know about earlier versions. I'm using 20.001 or something like that. Down at the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little box with, I think, a lightning bolt or something going through it that'll show up when it sees this and that light comes on. And so you know it's connected. At that point, when you hit source, every single video you have in your media pool, boxes, bins, and otherwise, everything you've got in your media pool loads up in a window, and it'll be down at the bottom, and it'll have little white lines separating each one of the videos. And you can sit here in what's that one called? Jog. And you can go through the video slowly until you see the points you want, mark in, go to how much of the video you want, mark out, and then hit append. And as simple as that, you've taken a section of one of those videos in your media pool and dumped it down onto your timeline. And if you basically go through here and because it'll actually show the cursor tracking over each one of those videos. It's directly over a video and you haven't marked an in or an out, then just hit append and the whole video will dump down onto your timeline. And you just keep doing that from video to video to video to video. And you can dump the whole thing on your timeline and go to working on it and edit it from there. If you mark in and you made a mistake, just hit twice. If you mark out and you made a mistake, twice, and that clears the in and out, respectively. Another good deal is split, because I'll get on my timeline down there and I'll run through, so, man, I don't like that. And so I'll come up to it, I'll hit split, go to my next section, hit split, and then go back so that it's highlighted over that portion that I just cut, and hit ripple delete, and it'll take it out. Now, some people have an issue to where this right here might take the wrong section of the video out. Well, you have to pay attention to where your playhead is. If your playhead is over the section you cut out and you hit ripple delete, it's going to take that out. But if you're going along and you see, okay, that's the beginning, you hit split, and you go further into the video there. I want to take all that out. Hit split, so it'll make a cut where you did the first cut, and it'll make the second cut. And then if you just hit ripple delete, it's a chance you've turned this a little bit. And if you did, then you're over this side of the video, and when you hit it, it'll delete that side. Just make sure that you always step back a couple turns before hitting ripple delete, and it'll take out just what you deleted there. And then if there's the case is you want to delete what's on the other side, just a couple turns to the right, ripple delete takes all of that out. So this is a really cool device that is going to be kind of amazing. The only thing I'm unsure about is to be able to mark certain timelines, or certain videos that are stacked on a single timeline. And I think I've seen videos where you can hit these number keys right here to mark those videos, or to switch to those lines. And there's a whole lot of other stuff that you can do to where you can take and your playheads between two different videos. You have a marker that'll light up, and you can hold, trim, slip, or slip source, slip duration, and you can move that in and out. And so what those will do, it'll either grab that video in the center, and they'll take and pull back this away, exposing more of the video over here, closing away most video on this side as you move along. Then another function will take and it will just pull to the right and leave a gap in the middle. I don't know these buttons so well, so I really can't tell you what's what. I know what they do from watching videos. But simply right here, hit there and it plays, hit again and it stops. Now what I really, really like is because a lot of times I'll do close-ups in my videos. And so I can easily track along right here, watch it, yeah, that's what I want, stop it, back up a little bit, and I can mark in, and then I can go forward and mark out, and then come up here and hit close-up. And what that will do is it'll take us that section of video that I just marked, and it'll pop it just above on the next line and zoom in. And then I can hold this button down and move this left and right to move that video up and down. And so you can adjust the position. Now you can't do the X position left and right, but you can do the Y, the up and down position, by holding the close-up button down after you've dumped the video up there. So there's a lot of different things that can be done on this right here. Like snap, it stays on. If you hold it down and do this, you can enlarge and shrink the window that you're actually looking at your video that you're dealing with. So this is a good button because there's been a lot of times that I'm having problems seeing something on the video that I'm playing back and I need to see it. Well, I can easily hit this and it'll bump to full view, and the entire screen fills with the video. I can see what I need to, hit it again, and it goes back to normal. Versus it's kind of clunky hitting the buttons, keyboard shortcuts, or this is just one key. Hit it, you're done. Hit it again, it goes back. So I'm going to try and do a really detailed, once I know more about this editor and I get some use in on it, I'm going to try to get detailed into reviewing the way I use it, because there's going to be multiple ways. This right here is for multicam, which I've started doing more of that. And so I think it's going to benefit me to a certain extent. Because I've started putting a little, box to the side that has my ugly mug on it while I'm doing what I'm doing down here, so you kind of see both. And that's multicam. So I don't really plan on actually setting up full multicam videos, because those are just quick reviews of something or whatever. And so it's not really worth going into all the in-depth editing, because, I mean, let's be honest, if you get the information that I'm trying to pass along, fancy editing doesn't help you at all. but the information needs to be more reliable than I'm passing on. So that's kind of what I'm focusing more on than I am as far as just being fancy on the edits and all that kind of stuff. But and I don't remember if I said this, but when you hit source, you track through all of your videos in your media pool. When you want to get down to your timeline, obviously you come down here and you hit timeline, and now you're working down into the timeline the videos you put down there. So I'm going to let this charge, and I may come back and add on to this video a little bit, because I want to get this tied into DaVinci so I can kind of play with it and see what I can learn about it, and maybe give you some more pointers. So we'll be right back. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.